Can the NBA pull off a mid-season tournament? The NBA bubble has shown that it is certainly possible in some fashion. The next question is, where would the NBA hold this pseudo-NCAA tourney, and what city makes the most sense? Before I answer that, let's provide a little background. For a few years, NBA players have been saying the NBA season is too long. Playing 4 games in 5 nights at some points was too much of a strain on their bodies. Adam Silver acknowledged this and proposed a plan at the MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference in 2019. Silver said if they shortened the season to 70 games, 12 games less than normal, they would need a way to replace the lost revenues. He proposed the idea of a mid-season tournament to compete for a separate championship, like they do in European soccer with League Cups and the Champions League. Back to the question, can the NBA pull off a single elimination tournament like this? To explain the answer to that, let's look at the model that the NBA bubble has used successfully. The bubble has 22 teams in one city using the same practice facilities and 3 courts to play games. Each of the 22 teams are allowed 37 hotel rooms for players, coaches, and staff. Every team has a practice time slot of 3 hours every day and use shared facilities for extra shooting that individual players can check in for. The bubble will host at least 148 games over the course of a month. This model has been very successful, with there being minimal issues with teams having enough practice times and players accessing the courts for extra shooting. Bottom line, the NBA bubble has shown that these organizations can come together to create a meaningful tournament in one city. So what would the NBA mid-season tournament look like? Where should it be held? What cities would have the capacity to hold such an event? The difference in this tournament and the bubble would be the inclusion of fans. The NBA would need arenas with large capacities in the same city and plenty of hotel rooms for teams and fans alike. This proposal focuses on the idea of a single elimination tournament for all 30 teams, with each conference's number 1 seed getting a bye. While the NBA bubble has 3 game courts, this tournament would only need 2 arenas to host 28 games over the course of 2 weeks, instead of at least 148 games over a month. The 3 potential host cities I have identified are New York, using Madison Square Garden and the Barclays Center, Las Vegas, using T-Mobile Arena and MGM Grand Arena, and San Francisco, using the Chase Center and the Oakland Arena, which was formerly known as the Oracle Arena, the Warriors' old home court. I believe New York is the best option for the first NBA single elimination tournament because Madison Square Garden is known as the Mecca of basketball. Barclays and MSG have the highest seating capacity of the host sites, and these 2 venues are both familiar with hosting similar basketball tournaments every year. For San Francisco, while the climate in the middle of the season may be more favorable and the league could show off a well-known former arena and a brand new one, there are not nearly as many hotel rooms in the area as New York, so it may prove difficult to host all of the NBA teams and fans for the tournament. For Las Vegas, the weather would also probably be better, and the city has plenty of hotel rooms. The issue would be the NBA would be using arenas that do not normally host basketball games. While I am sure the 2 arenas would be capable, I do not think it wise to choose a place with little experience for the first tournament. So now that we have a host site, let's look at some logistics of the tournament. As I said before, the tournament would be 28 games. Each arena would have 14 games, with Madison Square Garden hosting the final game. Since the opening round would have 14 games, it would be smart to look at the other single elimination tournaments for guidance. The NCAA tournament is the pinnacle of single elimination competitions. Their structure has 4 games in one arena in a single day, having the noon and 2 p.m. tips, then the 6 and 8 p.m. tips as well. It is an incredible experience to watch basketball after lunch, take a break to explore the city, only to come back for more basketball. March Madness hosts 67 games with 14 different sites over the course of 3 weekends. The NBA would have less than half of the games and the luxury of being able to play during weeknights. So, the NBA would only need to have 4 games in each arena for the opening round, and can switch to 2 games during the week. In terms of how many people the NBA would have to host for each team, we can look again at the bubble. The 22 teams were allowed 37 hotel rooms. For this tournament, a number like 45 people per team seems reasonable, which gives us 1,350 total hotel rooms. Another benefit to hosting the tournament in New York is that the NBA League office is there too, so it is likely that the league would not have to have many hotel rooms for its league staff. After the first round, the teams would have the option to purchase guest rooms for their families and friends as well. The last part to consider here is practice space. Simply put, the NBA would need a lot for all 30 teams if they plan on having a 3-hour practice session for every team, like they did in the bubble. The teams could use the Knicks and the Nets practice facilities, but there would certainly be a need for more space. Yet another benefit of New York hosting, there are 6 Division I colleges in and around the city of New York that have facilities the teams could use. Using these facilities and the 2 practice facilities would mean only 4 teams per facility. The opening weekend would be crammed, but doable considering the teams would be eliminated each day. To conclude, there would be a lot of moving parts to think about, but I believe the NBA could pull off a single elimination tournament in New York with all 30 teams in around 2 weeks. New York would be the best site for something like this for many reasons, and given the experience of the 2 arenas, I think the league would be set up for success.